Hi, my name is Drew, and you're watching ReadyBudgetGo. If we haven't met before, welcome. I'm glad you found your way here. And if this isn't your first visit, welcome back. It's good to see you again. This is the weekly reel, where I share my real numbers, my real triumphs, and my real mistakes. Ready? Let's go! The first thing I want to do today, as I do every week, is the cash dump. So let me set aside the budget minder for just a minute, and I'll take out all of my pouches here that have all of my cash in them. So this here is just the change that I got from the week for spending cash. And there's, I don't know, close to $1 in here, something like that. I don't count this, I just let it accumulate, and then when it gets to be enough, whatever that is, then I cash it in for a gift card. So that's just going in here along with all the other change. I don't know, there's probably $5-6 in here. So that's that part of it. Now let's move on to the cash. So this is the pouch that I use each week for my weekly spending money. And I have 25, 35, 36, $37 left over that I did not spend in cash this week. I give myself $50 a week, and whatever I don't spend goes in here. And at the end of the month, that goes into my Sunshine Fund, Special Events Fund. So far in here for November, we have 20, 40, 50, 5, 65, 70, 71, 2, 3, 4, 5, $76. So one more week to go in November for my spending. So let's see. Actually, there might be 2 weeks. Let's see what's in here. I think there's 2 weeks. Yep, there's 2. So 20, 40, and 50 for next week, and that'll leave 20, 30, 25, 35, 40, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 50 for the following week. Okay, perfect. So all of this is going to be for the last week in November that will start for me on Black Friday. So I'm going to set this aside, and yes, Black Friday is very near the end of the month, but my budget weeks run from Friday through Thursday. So I'll pull in a few November days. Okay, so this $50 is going in here. This will be my spending money for next week. And everything for cash is all set to go. I don't use cash very much. I just give myself $50 a week sort of as a mad money allowance. And whatever's left over, again, goes into the Sunshine Fund, which I use for special events. Birthdays, anniversaries, baby showers, wedding showers, Christmas, any of that. So let's jump into the budget and let's see what happened this week. First thing that I want to do is go over my goals, just because I haven't done it in a while. I hit the first 3 goals quite a while ago. And so the one that I've been working on, the big move, I'm still working on that, and that's going to carry over into 2026. So my first priority was fully funding my emergency fund, and I finished that in March. Next was the BLIP fund, and for those of you who don't know, the BLIP fund stands for Break Lock If Prompted, and that is basically a smaller sort of an emergency fund, but it's just there to catch anything that is like a unbudgeted expense. And I kind of keep that slush fund over to the side, and I haven't had to use it yet, but it's there just in case. And honestly, I'm getting pretty close to needing to use it. So we'll talk about more of that here in a minute. Roth IRA, I fully funded that in August. Oh, the BLIP fund was fully funded in April. Roth IRA fully funded in August. And so now I'm working on the big move. The big move is a big goal, $15,000 to save. And that, or really to stockpile. I look at savings as, you know, you're putting it aside for a rainy day. You're accumulating the money without a specific purpose in mind. A stockpile, on the other hand, you're putting money away toward a specific goal. And once you have enough, then you will use all that money and it's gone. So it has a named purpose. So I've been stockpiling money toward this. I am about a little over halfway there. So I need a few more months to finish this, especially since once the year rolls over, I will start putting money toward my 2026 Roth IRA. So we'll talk a little bit more in detail about this later, but that is the big move, is the goal that I'm currently working on. And I do need to do my goal planning for 2026, so look for a video on that sometime in December. Okay, so let's get into the weekly budget or the monthly budget and what happened this week. So I got paycheck one. That was, as expected, $29.97. In terms of bills, there was only one that came out this week, and that was for PUD, or my power bill, and that was $45 on a budget of $60, so good that it came in under there. Wallet spending, $284, so I'm over my $250 again. I'm not too worried about it. I gave myself a big fat buffer this month, so that will catch some of these overages. And there were reasons for the overage that we'll get into when I go into the transaction detail here in just a moment. This week for savings, I put $538 toward my goals. 200 of that is normally for travel. If you've been following along, then you know that I already spent that money, so I'm not actually transferring $200 into my travel budget. I'm just keeping that in my checking account to repay the credit card that I used. But I'm still saving for it as part of my weekly savings activities. Savings and extra debt, nothing there. Again, these are stockpiles. Savings and extra debt is that would be savings for a rainy day, like emergency fund building, and I don't have any debt currently, so that is a zero. So that is the week at a glance. So now let's talk about my cash flow tracker, and this is basically a check register, so it's everything that came into and went out of my checking account in a week. So paycheck one came in, and I also made a cash deposit from the Sunshine Fund for $370. And that is because I've started buying Christmas presents and I need to pay off those credit cards. So I took all the money that was in the Sunshine Fund from October and before and put that into checking. I don't account for that here. I need to get better at that next year. I'm doing better this year than I did last year at the holidays, but I also have this year 5 extra people to shop for. If you've been following my channel for a while, then you know that my family expanded quite dramatically over the summer. And I don't know yet what the holidays are going to look like, but I plan on probably purchasing more Christmas presents than I have in years past. So that's kind of introduced some chaos. And now that Christmas is bigger than it has been in past years, I need to get better about setting myself up for that. This year, it's going to be just doing the best I can, but I'm better this year than I was last year, and next year I will be better than I am this year. So that is how I look at it. Okay, and then in terms of payments, mostly credit card payments came out, and then a transfer of $338 to savings for the big move. Again, I'm saving $538, but $200 of that is already spent. So that is staying in my checking account to repay the credit card, and $338 goes into the high yield savings for the big move, because that's where I'm putting that. So it can earn some interest while I'm accumulating the money. Whew, okay. So that is it for the cash flow tracker. Now let's talk about expenses. So I kind of went a little bit nuts here, and I apologize for knocking the tripod or the phone stand here. Steady that just a little bit. Okay. So a big part of the reason that I'm over this week is that I spent $55 on Apple. This is something that I've done once before in the recent past. This is not a TV series season, though. This is an in-app purchase, or a series of in-app purchases. I started playing a new game. It is so fun. I don't regret these expenses at all. I don't normally give myself entertainment money. I have a big buffer this month. It's been an extremely stressful month, so I'm just allowing myself to, like a get out of jail free card. I'll try to keep it reined in the future, and if I need to increase my weekly spending budget, then that's what I will do. I'm having too much fun to feel sorry about it. So, and then everything else here is mostly food expenses. This Fred Meyer did have some household in it, but it's mostly food, so I just counted all as food. And then $50 in weekly cash spent. Now, if you're new here, the reason why I count $50 for the weekly cash, even though I had $37, $38 left over, is because I take out $50 a week for my personal allowance, and I figure once it's out of my checking account, it's a sunk cost. So I record it here as $50 no matter how much I spend, just because it is part of the $250 that I allocate myself each week for wallet spending. $200 on a credit card, $50 in cash. Never turns out that way, although last month, for the whole month, I was off by only 13 cents, and I'm still really proud of that. Okay, let's talk about savings. So I'm going to start with the blip fund just because I mentioned it earlier, and that is what this is. So it's break lock if prompted, and this has 12 sections in it, and I filled in $200 per section to accumulate 2,400. I have since taken 400 out and put it toward my business. So the blip fund is sitting at $2,000, and I haven't touched it since. So, if I ever need the money, it's there, but hopefully I won't have to touch it. Okay, next let's talk about subscribers. So I got a lot of new subscribers this week, and welcome to everyone who has joined. I'm so glad that you're here. Thank you for subscribing. That means a lot to me. And everyone who subscribes, I do save $5. So I do that by filling in the colored bubbles. Every bubble is 10 subscribers. So as of today, when I'm recording this, and I'm recording this on Friday, this video is coming out later because I didn't get home from work until 8 o'clock on Thursday. It was a whole thing. So as of when I'm recording this, I am at 712 subscribers. So I have filled in 71 bubbles. And I did transfer the money into the high yield savings account the other day. And so that is now correct. Should be 3550, and that's what it is for 710 to 719 subscribers. So when I get to 720, I will fill in another bubble and send another $50 rather to the high yield savings, and this all is going toward the big move. If I haven't described in detail what the big move is, I am moving to another state at some point. I don't know what state. I don't know exactly when, hopefully in 2026. And I am just stockpiling the money that I will need for moving expenses, for the flights, for hotels while I'm getting settled, food, anything incidental like that in the process of relocating. Okay, so I also have the big move for books, and this I did not update, and I need to update it. So let me get out a pen here, because on 11/19, I did send 338. It was 338 or 358, one of the two. Let's take a look here. All the way back to the front, 338. Okay. And that will bring my total in this account to 4480 plus 338, so 4,818. And then if we add that to what I have for subscribers, which was 3,550, I'm at 8,368, so more than halfway. And I'm really hoping that I will get that $15,000 by April, May of next year. We'll see how it goes. It depends what kind of bonuses I get from work. It depends on my raise for next year. It depends on how my insurance costs are going to change, and all of that is kind of in flux right now. So that is it for saving and for spending for this week. One other thing that I will mention is that I am still working on the Roth IRA savings trackers for next year. They will look a little bit different to this one. I mean, it'll be the same kind of theme, but there's a different header and different images of sloths. So that is coming. That will be launched sometime between now and Thanksgiving. Hopefully this weekend, but we'll see. So once the year rolls over, I will start putting money into my Roth IRA again, and that will be one of my goals for 2026. So that's it for this week. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate all the time that you spend here. If you enjoyed the video, please leave me a thumbs up. Drop me a comment down below so I know you were here. If you haven't subscribed already, I'd love to have you, and I'll save $5 if you do. So hit the subscribe button, and until I see you in the next video, which should be this weekend for the December budget, take care.